Trust takes years to build and takes seconds to destroy. What is going on here? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And it just wouldn't leave my head.
Fighting against the big giants.
They don't care. They just want to know what the results are. That's all they care about, which is fine. Numbers don't lie, right? So you can't argue with the numbers and you can't argue with what's in front of you.
How many times we receive phone calls asking, how is the temperature in February? How is the ocean? How are the pools? Are the pools heated?
All the boring and mundane questions. Let's make it abundantly clear.
How to maximize its full potential of that particular tool.
If you don't involve the team, they will not use it.
What is the difference between a chatbot and an AI assistant?
And it was just a mess.
It was just 3 total different answers that had nothing to do with the question that I wanted to answer.
Work with cool people in cool places in cool properties.
Then hey, Val, thank you so much for joining us today to another episode of Hospitality Marketing Lab. For the listeners out there and the watchers, can you just let us know what it is that you do and what it is that you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, so I am the founder of Purple Square AI, and we partner with and help hospitality properties automate all the boring and mundane questions that guests have. So if you are in an independent property, if you're an Airbnb and you need an answer to a question, you scan a QR code that's in your room or around the property, or click on a link, takes it straight to our system. And then you can voice or type in your question, whatever that might be. So it could be, I don't know, it could be what time's the spa open tomorrow. It could be what are the local attractions. It could be what's on the menu for tonight. Whatever it might be, rather than go through a brochure or your emails or an outdated website most of the time, or go through the front of house or front desk, our system just takes care of all of that. So rather than waiting a couple of hours, sometimes for some of our clients, we knock it down to about 10 seconds, 10-ish seconds. So yeah, in a nutshell, Daniel, that's pretty much what we do.
Nice, impressive. Val, obviously the hospitality industry, it's one of those things that, kind of comes from a human element, right? How is it that you were able to come up with this concept to be able to serve the hospitality industry while maintaining that sense of hospitality through AI, for example?
Yeah, it's a fine line, isn't it? Because hospitality, the industry that we're in, is all about the humans. It's all about the human touch. It's all about the human gestures, and we're not like that at all. We're not trying to replace jobs. We're not trying to, put a robot on every single, floor of a hotel. We're not like that at all. The reason we sort of started is I used to sort of work in the hospitality industry, and I was having a drink with a friend. This must have been sort of Christmas time, 2024. And she was saying that she keeps getting asked the same question. So she's front of house and she keeps getting asked the same question 20 times a day. I'm paraphrasing what she said. Her language is a lot more colourful, but I won't say it on this podcast, but her language is a lot more colourful. And I thought there must be something in that. There must be, a solution to this problem. There must be something we can do to fix it. So went away for a few days, thought about it, and it just wouldn't leave my head. And like there's a gnawing thing in the back of your head. Kept going. And then, that's how pretty much Purple Square AI was born. So we are not here, like I said, to replace humans. We're here to save time. We're here to sort of get rid of those automated questions that guests have, the ones I mentioned earlier. We're here to answer those. So that frees up the host or the front of house to provide those really, those wow moments that keeps guests coming back. When you come back, you're like, oh, that staff member did this for me. There was a swan towel on my bed when I walked in. All that sort of stuff, that keeps us coming back and, loves that property. So that's what we're here to do. So we're not here to replace humans. We actually call ourselves a non-human human company, where although we're a tech company, although we're an AI company, we are very much, and I'm very, very hot on this, a human first company. We very much look after our staff. We very much look after, our clients, and I'm very, very clear and very, very upfront about that. So it is a fine line. I've messed up sometimes. I'm happy to hold my hands up to that mistake. But we're all on a learning journey here. AI is so
Yeah,
new, and
it is.
I'm doing the best I can. And our clients seem to enjoy us and seem to like us. So that's what matters to me, and that's what keeps us pushing forward and forward, and sort of making sure it's a good product at the end of the day.
Brilliant. I think that might be perhaps one of the biggest misconceptions, right? I mean, it kind of seems that the general belief is that any solution that you put in place, it's looking to replace something that already exists, which is, I think you made it quite clear that we're not looking to replace all the interactions, but sort of the day-to-day basic questions that perhaps are even, just a Google search, by itself, right? I mean, just like I used to work in reservations for a large luxury developer in Mexico. And I just can't, I mean, it's hard to know like how many times we receive phone calls asking, how is the temperature in February? How is the ocean? How are the pools? Are the pools heated? Right. So I definitely understand the need to be able to solve those issues so that the actual humans can actually focus on the things that really matter, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Has
No. And it's funny you say that. 99.9% of the discovery calls that I do, first thing out of a GM's mouth or an owner's mouth is, "You're just trying to take our jobs." Let's make it abundantly clear. I could not be clearer. No, that is not what we're trying to do. We're a tool. We're like a calculator or a website or anything along those lines. We're just here to help you. We're not here to take jobs. So yeah, that's probably one of the number one sort of barrier that I get, and I understand it. I get it. I completely get it. I get where they're coming from, but we're not like that at all.
hmm, why do you think exists that sort of misconception?
Maybe so. Again, this is very generalistic, and this a very broad stroke of a brush here. Sometimes it's demographic, sometimes it's age, sometimes it's culture. That sometimes comes into it. Most of the time, if I had to pinpoint it, is the media. Um, where if you watch Terminator, that's what's going to happen in the next sort of 5 years, and it's not like that at all. The media sort of overplay what AI is doing, and you only the news is mostly, in my opinion, this is my opinion, only wants to tell you the bad stuff, the negative stuff. And the reason why is because it sells, clickbait, it sells papers, it sells, you click on a link, which then gives you money through advertising. And you don't really hear of the positive stuff. You don't really hear of that this helped me in this sort of sense. So I think that those are the sort of I think those are the sort of key areas where people are forming their opinion without knowing the full picture. I think so. I think that's mainly, in my opinion, where those misconceptions come from as a founder of a sort of tech and hospitality company.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Something that I've been wondering about. I mean, like we serve different clients at different stages with their hotels and resorts. So, what do you think are the fundamental things that every hotel owner should have before trying to apply these kind of solutions?
Oh, how long have you got? I could
Let's
talk
go.
hours on this one. So I think it's important to, first and foremost, I think it's important to involve their team, because what we found is if you don't involve the team, they will sort of not use it. And and you have to have a buy-in from your team. That's super important. So in terms of the process, I think it's super important to involve the team from day one, because they're the ones, the boots on the ground. They're the ones that are going to use it ultimately. And if you don't have their buy-in, it's very hard to make it a success. So I think that's really important. And also making sure it's visible. We had one client where they were great, they were brilliant, they were on board, they were forward thinking, they saw the value of what we were doing. And about maybe 2 months, 2.5 months, we were looking at the back end, we were looking at the data, and the numbers weren't matching up with the numbers of guests that they have and how many keys they have and how many rooms they have. So I dug into it a little bit deeper. We've got the team to dig into it, and it turns out that no one knew that it existed. So none of the guests knew it existed. Half the team didn't know it existed, and they were paying for this thing that they weren't using, which just didn't sit right with me. We're not here to take your money and then run away and stuff. We're here to help. We're here to make sure that we are being used. So that, I think, is super, super important. So discoverability and making sure you have that buy-in, making sure the team know what is there for. We're not here. I feel like I'm on a broken record. We're not here to replace them. We're here to help them. We're here to sort of take hours out of their day so they then can provide those wow moments that keep guests coming back. So I'll say, Daniel, those two things are probably the biggest ones, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, obviously, the hotel operators kind of have, well, there are always so much things to do, right? I mean, one, if you're like a brand new boutique hotel, you're trying to build up the credibility, you're trying to build the authority, you're trying to improve your digital marketing presence. So are there different stages where these sort of solutions can actually help, let's say, shorten the scalability, for example, of a brand new boutique hotel?
Yeah. So we found in our research, it's about 15 or 20 rooms plus where it really, really, you can see the value of it. And then the back end of our system, so we provide a dashboard to our hotels, and you can see how much time has been saved, and you can see how much money is being saved as well. That's only a recent thing that we've sort of implemented. I wish I'd done it. I wish I'd done it sooner, because it's such a great thing to show. Numbers don't lie, right? So you can't argue with the numbers, and you can't argue with what's in front of you. So with that data, that's been a really, really positive thing that we've shown. Obviously, the dream scenario is to get a hotel on opening day. The second they open, we're done and dusted. But saying that, that's not always the case. We can start an implement, and it does take maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks, where it's fully operational. And when I spoke earlier about the buy-in, we can send our system before it goes live to the guests, where they can try it out. So what I say and what our team says is, I want you to try and break it. I want you to try and get it to say, I don't know the answer to the question, because that feedback is brilliant, because they're the type of questions that your guests will ask. So if it doesn't know the answer, let's get the answer, let's put it in, and the next time it get asked, it'll then know the answer. So that sort of testing and retesting, and I want you to break it. I want you to, I want it to, start saying different languages you didn't even know it existed. So I want that. That's the thing that provides such great feedback to us and to our team as well.
Mm-hmm. How important do you think is the foundation of the hotel itself digitally for this to be for this to be able to work? I mean, obviously, in order for this to work, you got to have people fighting the website, right?
Yeah. No, you do. Yeah. No, it's a very good question, and we've had a few clients where it was the best word I can use, and there's no disrespect, their data, and it was just a mess. The mess is probably the word I would use. There was no single source of truth. There was no one place where if I wanted to find out a question, I could go. It was probably in 6, 7, 8, 9 different places. And that was a big, big job, trying to get everything into one place where we could then put it into our system. Because the way AI works is, if it's garbage in, it's garbage out. So you need to have good, clean, high quality, up-to-date data going into the system, because then all that stuff will then go out of the system. So yeah, that digital presence is hard. A dream client is where all the information is in one place, is in one SharePoint, or one folder, or wherever it might be, and I could just go, right, let's go there, bing bang bong, done. That's the dream scenario. But yeah, we've had clients, and our data team was just like, what is going on here? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But that's what makes it fun, right? That's what makes it, that's why we do what we do. So yeah, so having the data and having the information in one place, or at maximum 2 or 3 places, it makes our job a million billion times easier than it would. But we have had clients before, Daniel, where it was just a mess. absolutely messed because no one knew where to get. So if someone were to find out what the menu is for the next day, where do you go? Do you go here? Do you go there? Do you go there? Where, like, where do you find the information out? So, yeah, I think that's super, super key, but not essential. I would say.
What do you think is the most important thing that you just mentioned? That, I mean, that may not be the most essential thing, but on the opposite side, like what is the most essential thing?
What is the? I've never been asked that before, Daniel. That's a great question. What is the most essential thing? I would say the buy-in, like I mentioned earlier, from the staff and the senior management team, and also forward thinking. I think that is super, super forward. So having an owner or GM or a deputy GM that is forward thinking, that knows the value, that it would not, AI is not going anywhere. It's like when websites started to come through or social media started to come through, that stuff is not going anywhere. AI is the same, is not going anywhere. So it's better to have it than not have it. And I think GMs and owners who realize that are so much easier to work with. I know as soon as I get on a sales call and they say you're like Purple Square trying to take our jobs, I know I've got an uphill battle. So I think buy-in is super important, and a forward-thinking owner slash GM slash deputy GM.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, they need to be able to believe it in order to to put it into action. Just like with many solutions, a lot of times there's a belief that something didn't work, not necessarily because it actually didn't work, but because they actually didn't know how to use it, how to put it into use, how to maximize its full potential of that particular tool, right? And at the same time, it's quite understandable, right? I mean, a GM has got a bunch of things on their desk, putting fires here, putting fires there, dealing with OTAs and whatnot. And I mean, that's another kind of conversation that I want to get into is obviously a lot of the clients that we serve, it's smaller boutique hotels, right? And fighting against the big giants, right? Like big, like especially the OTAs, it's definitely like a challenge. So adding another layer of complexity of another layer of difficulty to the whole to the whole operation can be quite challenging, especially for a GM. I mean, what is your general outlook on the industry at the moment? I mean, now obviously, big corporations have a lot more resources, a lot more budget to even provide solutions like the one that you're providing. So in a way, it kind of seems like we're always fighting an uphill battle, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely agree. Yeah. Like your Hiltons, your Accors, your IHGs of the world, they have seemingly unlimited budget, unlimited resources, unlimited time, people as well. So it is, and I do feel for the hospitality sort of industry. And I put a post out on LinkedIn just not the other day about people who are working in the industry and just getting not the pay that they deserve or the recognition they deserve, and it is tough. So I do feel for them. I do very, very empathetic with them. In terms of integration, we seem seamlessly into like PMS and OTA. So most of the big brands we integrate with them. We also do sort of Slack as well. We provide a dashboard, so we try and not put another tech stack on another sort of more systems that they're using. So we're very mindful of that, and very we don't want to give you another system that they've got to sort of learn and manage and all that sort of stuff. So we deal with all that and we look after all of that. So yeah, it is a tough one. I'm not sure if I've got an answer to your question. If I did, I think I'll be a millionaire by now. So yeah, it is a tough one. And yeah, I'm not sure what the answer is. It is a question that needs an answer. It definitely doesn't need an answer, but it is an uphill battle, and it is definitely tough for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Something that I'm always wondering is like striking the right balance of things. For example, like what would you say is is the right balance with managing tools like this? So like how much of the actual workload would you actually assign to an AI agent versus keeping the other part concentrated on humans? Like, is there specific sweet spot number that you target or that you talk to hotel owners?
Yeah, so again, it's a great question, and it's something that we maybe in the sort of last 9-10 months or so we've started implementing into our system. So we do something called human handover and human in the loop. So all the boring and mundane questions, what time's the spa open tomorrow? Local attractions, what's on the menu tomorrow? Our system will handle that. Anything above that, it then gets pushed up a level to a human. So if it's a authority matter, if it's a matter that needs a human above all that, our system will then ping or email or give a notification to a human, and then a human will then join the chat, and then they can answer. So there's always a human in the loop, and we have set times as well. So if your staff is working Monday to Friday 9 till 6 p.m, we can then set it in our systems. That's the only time a human can then enter the chat. If it's outside those times, our system will send an email to an inbox, wherever it might be, and then a person can from the staff can pick that up as soon as they're ready, or as soon as they get back on shift. So that is super important. Security and misuse of our system we're very, very hot on that. So we have keywords. So if someone uses a keyword in our system, it will just shut it down. You won't be able to use it again. So we're very hot on that, and we're very mindful of abuse of systems, because we've all seen it before. There's a case, I think OpenAI were getting sued because a teenager was using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT told them to sort of kill themselves.
Oh yeah,
So yeah. So I saw that news. I was like, that's making me sweat. So it's definitely cases like that where we have a whole list of keywords. If anybody, guests or staff alike, use those keywords, it will just shut it down automatically. So we're very mindful of that, and we're very aware that that sort of stuff happens. So we're trying to circumnavigate that, as you will.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the other side. I mean, on the user side, I mean, I want to give you a quick little example that actually happened to me last week. So as I mentioned to you, I'm moving to Spain, right? And
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Gosni, the pizza oven brand.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm a big fan. I used to have one, and now that I'm moving to Spain, I want to buy one, right? So I wasn't able to find on the website itself like how I can purchase one to Spain. So I did what a lot of people would actually do, which is go to the chatbot and ask, "Hey, do you deliver to Spain?" And it gave me like 3 different answers that had nothing to do with it, right? So one of them was like buying the right parts if you're gonna buy it in Norway. Another one was, I mean, it was just 3 total different answers that had nothing to do with the question that I wanted to answer. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, I still love the brand. I love the product. I'm still gonna buy one, but I wasn't able to get the solution, right? I mean, that's a consumer product, but on the hospitality side, right? I mean, obviously timing is very important, right? I mean, how fast are you able to respond to the questions? How effective they are, how accurate they are. So talk to me a little bit about that. I mean, how much input do these kinds of tools require from the business itself to make sure that these solutions actually work properly? Because I do believe that there's great ones out there, right? That are able to do all kinds of things, but there's also ones that just can't cut it, even though, I mean, they're legitimate businesses. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. No, it's a good question, and I think that's another case that you talk about chatbots and stuff. You're now, correct me if I'm wrong, when you go to a hotel, you're going to have that memory in the back of your head, and that's another sort of misconception. That might be a different system. I don't know what system they use, but it is a valid thing to raise. So in our onboarding process, we ask our properties to give us the data that we'll be using, and then try and times that by 10. So whatever you think is enough, it's not enough. So we're trying to get as much data as we can, and the system learns all the time. So if it doesn't know the answer to a question, we'll get a red flag. Then myself or someone in the hospitality in the team can look at that and say, okay, they didn't know the answer to that question. Let's load it up. And then the next time someone asks, that it will know the answer to that. To the person who didn't know, it will either ask it to send an email or ask it to bring a human into the loop that I mentioned earlier. So we're not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. Trust is so important, and it's so fickle, right? Trust takes years to build and takes seconds to destroy. So we only give answers, or our system only gives answers to that question if it's 110% it knows the answer. So that's why we always make sure the data that we're given is correct, it's up to date, and and is high quality. So we always make sure that. And if it doesn't know, that's fine. That's completely normal. Every human or every person doesn't ask the same question all the time, right? They are sometimes ask different questions. If it doesn't know, it won't try and guess. It won't try and make up an answer. It will say, "I don't know. However, here are some options that we can provide for you," and then we can load up that answer to that question the next time. So next time when someone else asks it, it'll then know the answer.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you mentioned something quite interesting. I mean, something that I actually just thought about. So, I mean, I think perhaps one of the biggest misconceptions on the end user, on the customer itself, is maybe not even understanding what is the difference between a chatbot and an AI and an AI assistant.
So without going into too much detail, I find it really, really interesting. But when I tell my girlfriend this, she gets bored. And you could see her switch off. So between a chatbot has predefined questions, and it will know the answer to it. AI or agentic AI will think for itself. So if you ask it a question, agentic AI will go into the internet or go into the World Wide Web and try and find the question that it can do. Sometimes it hallucinates, which means that it will give you the answer in a very, very confident way, but it's wrong. So a prime example of this is you ask it to what was the example I saw the other day? Oh, yes. So you ask it, right, I want to wash my car. The car wash is 500 yards away. How should I get there? And the LLM, the system said, go and walk there because it's only 500 yards, even though it's a car wash. You need your car to get there. So it will give you the wrong answer, but in a very, very confident way. So that's hallucinating. And that is what AI and agentic AI is, whereas a chatbot has predefined answers to questions and it won't guess it. If it doesn't know the answer, it will say, I don't know. But to find out the answer, you can either email or you can bring a human into the loop. So that's the difference in a very, very succinct, very short way between the two. But it's a great question.
Yeah. Something that I was wondering the other day, I mean, is what would happen if we actually asked, let's say, a specific hotel's AI agent about a competitor? Like, would it actually give you like a recommendation to actually go stay with a competitor?
If it has guardrails, no. So we have guardrails in place where that won't happen. But it all depends on how what's the word I'm looking for? How strict those guardrails are. If it's a 0.0, then that's super, super strict. If it's a 1.0, then you've got, very, very high. So ours is on a 0.3, 0.35. So we have a little bit of leeway. And again, we can control that. So if the property wants it locked down to 0, we can 100% do that. If we want it all the way to 1.0, we could do that as well. But most of our clients, if we're talking about averages, it's about 0.35 on that scale between 0 and 1.
Wow. Oh, that's super interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously there's so many layers to it. I mean, and obviously, I mean, even myself, like I'm not fully aware of all of its capabilities. I mean, I read about it, from an outside perspective, because I mean, that's something that obviously that we didn't do. But it's something that it's here. It's something that is here to stay, and that's something that eventually, probably at some point, 99.9 will have some kind of integration of an AI assistant. Now,
Yeah.
something that I'm very curious about is obviously, especially in the, let's say, luxury segment of hospitality. So, how far would you say, can it actually push uh, in order to still achieve like high levels of helplessness of helpness, but at the same time also tapping into an almost human-like sort of attention?
Yeah. And to your earlier point, I'm the same. I find it really, really interesting. And there was a point when I started this company, I just wanted to know everything. Everything, whatever you want to know about AI, I want to know about it. And Daniel, I just went crazy. I just went, you can't know everything. So if you or any of your listeners are sort of listening in, don't try and learn it all, because it's just moving so fast. Even probably since we started this conversation, Daniel, it's probably improved 10x. That's how fast this industry is moving, and I try to keep up, and no one man can. No one person can. So definitely try and do that. But in terms of that last question, helpfulness, we are very upfront and we're very honest about who they're talking to. Again, trust is super important. So on our sort of homepage that we have, we say you are talking to an AI agent and you are talking to a non-human. We don't want to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. We don't want to lie to anybody. We don't want to make them think that they're talking to a human. So we're very, very upfront. We're very, very open that we're talking to an AI agent. If, however, they talk to a human, again, that's very clear. And it says, you are now talking to Balv, or you are now talking to Daniel, and they have now joined the conversation. Please feel free to, ask the question that you want to ask. So we're very honest. We're very open. I'm very hot as a founder. I'm very hot on that, and that's very, very important. Very important to me, because I would be upset if I was talking, if I thought I was talking to a human, and I wasn't. So I always put myself in the shoes of that guest or of that client. So we always make sure that we're very open, very honest on who you're talking to. If you're talking to a human, you will know about it. If you're talking to an AI or a chatbot or an automation system, you will know about it. So I think that's how, with the helpfulness, that's how we sort of make sure that is very prevalent and very very upfront.
Mm. I suppose one of the questions that you might be getting all the time is, how is this going to help me to be more profitable, right?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. No, our biggest one is time saved. That's probably the biggest one. 90% is time saved in terms of staff, in terms of their hourly rate, their national insurance contributions, if you're here in the UK, whatever it might be. And the other thing is upsells. So we could do upsells as well. So if someone is looking at the spa times, they're probably looking for a massage or wherever it might be, and then we can provide that. We can say, oh, we have a massage available tomorrow at 11 o'clock for X amount of money. Would you like to book? Yes, no. If they're yes, we'll take it straight to their system and book it there and then. So it's very easy to do. So we do upsells, and that seems to be working for us. But in terms of profitability, yeah, it is a big one, because I've learned this the hard way. No one really cares about the system. All they care is the result of that system. So I used to go into discovery calls. Oh, we've done this. They don't care. They just want to know what the results are. That's all they care about, which is fine. I would be exactly the same. So, so profitability is a super important part for us and the sort of journey, especially onboarding when we are with a potential client.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, because I mean, at the end, just like probably you're concerned about how profitable you are. I mean, we're
Bottom
concerned about
line.
how profitable.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's all that matters. Especially, especially hotels. I mean, they're getting squeezed quite a lot. So everything counts. Everything counts. What is sort of walk me through? Let's say a brand new boutique hotel, right? They don't have a webpage yet. They don't have perhaps even all the staff yet. Are there certain things that you sort of guide a GM or hotel owner about, like how to actually set the right foundations prior to even considering solutions, for example?
Yeah, if we're talking specifically about that case, we're
Yeah,
probably a bit too early
yeah.
for them. And I'm very, again, we don't want to sell something they're not going to use for 6 months. That doesn't make sense. So we don't want to waste anybody's money. We're very, although we want to make money, want to make profit. Our main goal is to help and to be that helping hand that properties need. So in that case specifically, Daniel, we would probably say we're too early for you. However, we do have a newsletter that's on LinkedIn. If they're on LinkedIn, they can sort of subscribe to that. We also have an email newsletter that they can subscribe to. We have a readiness score. We have all these resources that we can provide to potential clients. So when they are ready for us, and when we are ready to, we get that green light, they have got all the information. So we've got like an FAQs. So I have heard probably any question a GM or an owner will ask, I probably heard it a million times already. So we provide the answers before they even thought about the question. Before we even think about the question, we've given them the answer. So I think that's key for us in terms of closing the deal and making sure that they are happy and comfortable with what we're doing. So yeah, so we're quite early on that journey. If the one that you were mentioning about, so yeah, we definitely don't try to sell anything that they're not ready for. Once they're ready, we're ready to go. We're always ready. So yeah, it all depends on their timeline and where they are on their journey.
How does a ready property look like?
Oh, that's a great question. So our ideal client, and again, we can deviate from this a little bit. We have clients who are not quite like that, or a little bit less, or a little bit more. But our ideal client is 15 plus rooms, independent luxury hotel, forward thinking GM, staff in place, and they have a real pain point with questions and with guest communications. So they're being asked the same question 20 times a day. That's where we can come in, and that's where we can, I think, make a real difference to their staff and to their guests as well. Ultimately, every product that we build and every system is bespoke and unique to that property. So there isn't a one size fits all. We don't do that. We spend time with our clients. We spend a lot of hours with them trying to make sure they're happy and making sure it's right for the guest and for them as well. So that's what I would say is our ideal client. So if you're listening and you're that, give me a call. I'm definitely sure we can help you.
In 2026, what do you think are sort of the biggest mistakes that GMs can actually make when trying to incorporate these kind of solutions?
Biggest mistakes. So there's a few. I would say not having the data in place. So having data here, there, and everywhere. Not telling and not involving the staff from day one. I think that's a mistake. The guests don't know about it. I think that's a mistake. And I think the last one I'll say is they don't see the value in it. They think that it's just another system. It's just there to just sit on your tech stack and say we've got AI. We don't want to do that. We if you're honest, we would rather not work with you. If that's the case, and I've said that before. The reason I got into business and the reason I'm running this is to work with cool people in cool places in cool properties. That's it. So I love talking to people like yourself. Like who are fun to talk to. Would I go with a drink with you? Would I go with a beer with you? All that sort of stuff is important to me. I'd rather not work with a person who's not very nice. And I've got rid of clients that way just because they were so they weren't realistic in what we could do. So yeah, I just thought we're just gonna shake hands and all the best, good luck with everything, but I don't think you're the right right sort of fit for us, and I'm more than happy to do that. So that's the reason we do it. I don't want to wake up every morning going, oh, I'll go work today. I get up and go, yes, come on, I got to work today, and that's what I want to feel every day, and that's the reason I run my own business. That's the reason I'm my own boss, and that's the reason I've started a company. So that is super important to me, in that sense.
Yeah. Something that I want to pick your brain on on a little bit. I mean, obviously you're based out of Europe, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of the tech innovation sort of comes. Well, it takes a while to get here once it gets released in the US. So, what is the struggle sometimes that you see in your particular industry, and even in the travel industry and hospitality industry, that it kind of seems that we're always catching up? I mean, one thing is catching up with that with as soon as it gets released, but at the same time, we're also catching up by weeks or sometimes even months. By the time something was launched in the US, it takes a while for things to kind of come on this side, especially for us in Europe. I mean, what is it like? I mean, talk to me a little bit about that. Like,
Yeah, I've got some stories for you, Daniel. Buckle in. So again, I'm about to say something very generalistic, and I'm about to say something that I'm brushing with the same brush. You mentioned America, you mentioned the US. I believe that they are a lot more forward thinking than we are here in Europe. And I'll explain why. So when I'm on discovery calls or, speaking to people in America, they buy into you as a person, they buy into you as an idea, and they're very, very forthcoming when it comes to that. Whereas I think here in Europe, especially in the UK, people wait for you to be a success first. They wait for you to have a couple of reviews, have a couple of case studies, all that sort of stuff before they buy into you. That's my experience. Happy to be corrected, and I'm happy for your listener to say,
mhm.
"Yeah, you're wrong," and you can swear at me as much as you want. But in my opinion, that's what I think is the case. It might be down to culture, it might be down to how they were raised, it might be down to a number of variables, a number of things. But when I am speaking to an American, I know that they'll buy into me as a person and they'll buy into me and my idea a lot quicker than a lot quicker than someone from Europe, for example. So yeah, it's a difficult one to answer, but in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
opinion, and like I said, happy to be corrected, and I'm happy to hold my hands up and say I'm wrong. But that's been my experience.
Yeah, I do share like a little bit of the same.
What do you think? What do you think? Has that happened to you? What's your thoughts?
Well, look, funny they mentioned. So I grew up in the US. So like I know sort of firsthand what the culture is there, right? But now I've been living in Europe now for the past 6 years, and well, I mean, one thing obviously is the whole geopolitical landscape of over regulation in the EU, and it just takes so
Yeah,
long for things to sort of fall in here. And then once it even does, it takes a long time as well to convince people to want to jump in on the AI train. I remember I got into AI back in 2019. I think I had heard in the Joe Rogan podcast somebody talking about ChatGPT when it wasn't even ChatGPT yet. I think it was ChatGPT 2, but you had to like sign up through OpenAI, get the invitation, and you would get to play with the different models. I think it was Da Vinci, and there were some other models that you could create text and like code and other things. And I was working at one of the first firms coming out of Finland that was doing digital marketing with AI, and I was showing like it's kind of funny like now it's all over the place, but I got to show people for the very first time, like people were seeing text being generated through AI. And while a lot of them were impressed, there was also a lot of them that were very skeptical about it. They were saying, no, I don't think that's gonna be something that sticks. And obviously now you see it everywhere, right? So I think to your point, I see the same thing that they need to sort of see that some kind of technology takes like a global adoption before they want to jump into it. They don't. I
yeah,
kind of
I
feel
agree.
like they don't want to be wrong, and they want to be extra careful, even if that means falling behind. That's also my general sort of view on it, especially here in Finland. I think it's also one of the most regulated countries in the EU. Everything takes such a long time. I mean, we don't really have any powerful LLMs coming out of Europe, at least not yet. Will there ever be?
No, it's all China and US, isn't it? At the
Exactly.
moment, we've got DeepSeek, Google, Anthropic are doing some amazing stuff
Exactly.
abroad, and then obviously OpenAI. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, it always makes me wonder. Okay, so if we want to stay on top of the sort of on, if we want to be as updated as possible and to be able to serve our clients, let's say in Europe, like it makes it sometimes a little bit difficult because we may be seeing something that is coming up in the US and we want to start playing with it and we want to start applying it with the clients, but the reception from the European client, it's also a bit hesitant as well, right? So I can sort of see as well sort of where you could fall in those conversations with GMs whenever you're trying to present a new innovation about how a solution could actually help them because nobody has it yet in the region.
Yeah, and I get it. I completely get it. I was skeptical, and I completely get where they're coming from. So no shade on them, but I've seen the value, and I've seen what it can do, and I've seen the positives of it. And I guess I'm lucky and I'm blessed. I have access to that, and I can see all that. So yeah, it is tough, but yeah, it's definitely a good point in terms of the US and China and versus here in Europe.
Yeah, about what do you see agentic communication in the hospitality industry in 2 years from now?
Oh, 2 years. So AGI is getting bigger and bigger. I'm not sure if it will be in 2 years. The last prediction I saw was 5 years away. So AGI is artificial general intelligence, which is them thinking by itself, completely autonomous, completely by itself. By 2 years, I just think we're quite lucky as consumers that the OpenAIs of the world, the Googles of the world, the Anthropics of the world, they're all racing each other, which is brilliant for us because we're getting better models for cheaper. So we're lucky we can plug into any of the LLMs at any point. So we look at the data and we look at, oh, that's really quick at the moment, but it's cheaper. Let's go for that one. So that is great for us. So I think they will just keep arguing. They will keep racing each other. They will keep going against each other, which for us is brilliant because, like I said, the models will get more sophisticated and more clever, but it'll get cheaper as well. So that competition is good. That's great. We love that. We love competition. So yeah, I think that's what will happen in the next sort of 24 months or so.
Brilliant. What do you think nowadays is one of hospitality's, or what is the hospitality AI trend at the moment that you think it's a waste of money?
Hospitality AI trend. That's a waste of money.
I mean, obviously not all AI is created equal, right? So there's obviously stuff out there that maybe it's not going to make it. Any particular in mind?
Yeah, I think a system that replaces humans, like fully replaces humans. I think that is negative because I think hospitality is intrinsically human. I think the human moments within hospitality is so important. So yeah, so I think a tech that completely replaces the human, I don't think that's the way to go. I'm not a fan of that at all. So I don't think that's a positive thing to do, to replace a human completely. Yeah, so I would say that.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a particular brand in mind that you think will be able to succeed with this at the highest level in 5 years? Who would you bet on?
Yeah, so I was actually funny you say that. Hilton at the moment, they've collaborating with IBM to use their AI technology, and they've got a system called Connie. And Daniel, if you haven't used it, it's so good. Like I own a similar sort of thing, right? And even I can put my hands up and go, this is brilliant. This is so good. So yeah, so I think they're at the moment the front runners. IBM obviously huge company, Hilton huge company, and I think Connie will do some brilliant things. And you can only hold your hands up, right? You can only say that is really good. You can't throw no shade. You can't say anything negative about it. So yeah, for me, Connie, I think by Hilton and IBM are doing some wondrous and incredible stuff at the moment.
I got to look it up and play with it a little bit. Is there?
Yeah, honestly do.
Is there something that you think is highly important that we haven't covered yet that you feel you should mention it?
Ooh,
That would be beneficial for hotel owners?
For hotel owners, definitely research the company that you're going for, and I include us in that research. Definitely have a look at what's out there. Definitely try out the system. So most companies, and we have it as well, we have a demo account. So we've made a demo account for a fake London hotel. And you can play around with it. Use it as much as you want to. Try and break it, whatever you need to do. So definitely try and get a demo account and use it. Use and abuse it. Use it as much as you want to. And that's been great for us. So yeah, just do your research. And if any questions come up, I'm more than happy. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on email, website. It is there as well. We've got loads of information and blog posts and stuff on that. So yeah, do your research, and yeah, that's what I would say. And I would include us in that as well. And only go with a system once you've done your research and you're fully happy with whatever company you go for with what they're doing. That's what I would say.
Brilliant. Balv, where can people keep up with you?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, Balv Baines. I think I'm the only Balv Baines on there. I used to hate my name as a kid, but now I absolutely love it. So yeah, Balv Baines on LinkedIn or purplesquareai.com, and that will take you straight to our website, and you can find out everything there. Yeah, please get in touch as well. If anyone's listening and thinking, oh, I don't know whether to message Balv or not, please do. I love chatting to hospitality people and AI people. It makes my day a lot better. So yeah, please do reach out if you're listening to this and got to the end of this podcast.
Amazing. Balv, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'll see you in Spain, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right then. Thanks, man. All right then. Bye, everybody.